now regarding the IG2 report writing. After your theory exam, you have to submit this report within 7 days, so that there is other administrative works to be completed and submitted to the uh, NEBOSH server before the deadline. So many times students fail in IG2 report. IG1, of course, how they write the exam, depending on that, student will pass. But IG2 report, students think that it is easy to write down and we will pass. So they take it, take it for granted. But it is not like that. IG2, if you don't follow the proper guidelines, there is no 90% pass or 80% pass. There is only two options here. Either you pass or you fail. If you get 99, what? You pass or fail? If you get 99 out of
Fail.
100, IG2, pass or fail?
Fail. Fail.
Fail.
Fail.
So consider like that. Okay, I got 99, so I should have passed. Not like that. Once upon a time, it was like that. If you get 60 marks, 65 marks, you would have passed IG2, but not now 100 out of 100, because there is a format. There are questions given on the left side, and you have to answer that questions and give all the necessary information based on that requirements in the format. I hope you have already received the IG2 format, right?
Yes, sir. We got.
Okay. So I would like to go on the guidance notes. I don't know whether you read it or not. Every student must read this. So let us go through the guidance notes first, what it requires. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. We can.
Okay. This is IG2 guidance. Okay. Let's see the first thing here, part one. So there are 4 parts in the report. Part one is the introduction, what we are going to write. Meantime, I will open one report as well, one sample report. Okay. So you will see along with the guidance. Let's see the report. I'll just open one report, one of the submitted reports. This example report. I don't want you to copy anything, take photos or something like that. Just see this report. There is a sample report in your textbook itself. It's the same, similar one. Okay. Introduction. The aim of this assessment is for you to practically apply the knowledge and understanding that you have gained from your studies. To do this, you will need to complete a risk assessment of your workplace. Before you start the assessment, you must have completed your studies of the whole of the IG syllabus. Uh, the stages of the assessment are as follows: description of the organization and methodology used, risk assessment, priorities, prioritize 3 action with justification, and review, communicate, and check. The these 4 parts you have to fill in your format, and these 4 parts are there in the format. Now it is blank. When you fill, it will be filled with a lot of information. The rest of this guidance tells you what you need to do to complete the assessment. The guidance also contains some helpful hints and tips, including information on how to complete the various forms. An assessment pack has been produced to provide you with everything that you will need to complete the assessment. This can be downloaded from the NEBOSH website. And what is the NEBOSH website? Do you know? www.nebosh.org.uk. When completing your risk assessment, it can be difficult to know how much detail is enough. So there is nothing that I have completed or mine is good 100%. No, there is always, you can add up the information, but your information must answer the questions on the left side. Now let me open one report. So this is a form. Name of the organization. You see, first part. You should aim to complete this section in 150 to 200 words. So this is the first part. Name of the organization. So you can write down your company name, or you can just give a imaginary company. If you don't want to tell the name of the company, maybe there is a confidentiality statement will be there. So site location, where the site is located. So here we can say the site is located 25 kilometers away from the main city, Jeddah, whatever, you can tell your name. The site work location is a 15-story commercial building where company engaged in providing cleaning and maintenance services. So cleaning and maintenance services, maybe construction services, or maybe production of some product, production company, factory. So you have to explain what the company is. That you can describe more in the third step here. But here you can write next is site location, where it is located. Keep briefly one sentence is enough. Number of workers. So either you can say company is hiring total 100 workers, including staff and the workers. Or you can still elaborate on that. How many admin staff, how many cleaners, how many storekeepers. Then general description of the organization. So what does the organization do? What it is certified for? How is the general works are being carried out in the company? Okay. So ABC company is licensed to carry out FM activity, which includes cleaning and maintenance of the building facilities. The company management is recently planning to become ISO 45000 compliant, and hence hired an external consultant to develop various policies and procedures. ABC company is working as a contractor under the supervision of an external facility management consultant hired by the client. The ABC company reports to the FM consultant, who in turns report to the client. So here it is mentioned how the company working activities are ongoing. You can also explain what kind of activities company is engaged for, what kind of missionaries are there, how is the security managed, how far is the hospital from the company, in case of fire, what kind of arrangements are there. So all that you can give a general description of the company. Description of the area to be included in the risk assessment. Now, building may be very huge, but entire building you can't do risk assessment here. You have to select one or two areas, maybe workshops, maybe washrooms, maybe some storage areas, facilities like that. You have to select some of the facility and you describe that facility. Here what is mentioned, the risk assessment covers only the activities carried out by the ABC company staff. The recent contract of the company is to provide services of cleaning and general maintenance to a commercial building with offices and shops. The building has two basements, one loading bay area. Equipments used during cleaning include manual mops, walk behind cleaning machines, tile polishing machine, water jets to deep clean external areas. The areas for cleaning under the responsibility of the company include common areas, all common washrooms and toilets, parking areas and loading bay. The maintenance activities include generator maintenance. So what are the activities? Any other relevant information you want to say there? Time to time client visits the company to assist during the loading and unloading of goods of shop owners instead of hiring new workers from outside. And that will be billed separately to that. So this is the additional information. You can say additional information with fire safety, with regards to insurance, anything you can explain. Okay, so that's about now second. Now part one, next part is in the part one only. You should aim to complete this section in 100 200. Outline how the risk assessment was carried out. How did you carry out the risk assessment? So there is a process you followed, right? Sources of information you consulted. What information you consulted. So when you write this answer should answer these questions. So what are the questions here? What are the source of information consulted? Who you spoke to or you consulted? And how you identify the hazards? What is already being done? And any additional control actions that may require. So let's read this. During the risk assessment process, various health and safety resources were referred, such as health and safety national and international legislation, including ILO Convention C-155, UAE Federal Law number 8. When you are doing in Saudi Arabia, you can talk about Saudi Arabia regulations, mention about their name, all relevant code of practices of Abu Dhabi Environment Health and Safety Management System, Dubai Municipality Guidelines number 17 for first aid, Dubai Health Authority Immunization Guidelines, Trackis Regulation 07 Generation Commodities Tracking, previous audit reports, and accident incident register review, first aid register checked. Uh, various various parties have been consulted during the site visit, such as workers, operations manager who rarely visit the site, safety manager who is handling various sites of the company, supervisors, purchase manager, FM consultant, nominated manager at site, and drivers to identify their knowledge with regards to the work that they are doing. Incident and near miss reporting, any health and safety issues they are facing with regards to their work. To identify the hazards, a detailed site visit was undertaken. A health and safety notice board is provided at the FM office entrance with some safety relevant information. Welfare facilities like dining room, washing and toilets, and first aid kit with a trained first aid person is made available. What is already done? So that is the one. What is already being done, and any additional control that may be required. So you can write down that as far as possible, whatever information you can give, you can give. So let's come to when complete the discussion, it can be difficult to know how much detail. So let's come to that one. So did you understand this? Have you understood this?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
that
sir.
is the part one. Part one. Part one you understood. So I want you to read this guidance, huh? Guidance you read for it. So let's read this. Here, you will need to include the following information as a minimum: the name of the organization, the site location. Some more people are joining. Site location, you don't need to give the full address, just the general location, etc. Like New Delhi, India, or Dammam, Saudi Arabia. Okay, site location. That's enough. You don't have to explain that. How many workers are employed by the organization? So give a number. So 180 workers total or 50 workers, depend. You should know your company. A general description of the organization, which must include products manufactured or services provided, the type of activities undertaken, and shift patterns worked. A description of the area to be included in the risk assessment. Any other relevant information, etc. Who has the day-to-day responsibility for health and safety in your organization? If you feel there is nothing relevant here, you do not need to include this in the description. So the description of the organization should be detailed enough to give the examiner, who may not be familiar with your industry, a clear image of your organization. For example, garage related activities is far too brief. So what they are doing, maybe welding activities is not clear. Mechanical activities is not clear. So something like this would be better. Extract from the worked example in the assessment. Uh, Part one guidance. So let's see this one, how they are written. IGG Limited is a medium-sized garage with offices, vehicle repair shop, and a paint spray booth. The business does a lot of body repairs on vehicles involved in accidents for insurance companies. Servicing is also carried out for members of the public. Give me a minute. So that way you have to give the description. So I already read out to you the sample report, how it's supposed to look like. So you can do much more better than that. You will need to outline the sources of information that you consulted, who you spoke to, and how the hazards and controls were identified. Is that clear? First part? Okay. When the first part is clear, you must now, in the part two, the assessment part, to complete the risk assessment. You will now need to complete a risk assessment of your organization. You must find the and record at least 10 different hazards. I'm telling you, make at least 12. No? Okay? Instead of 10, make it 12. 2 extra you give. In case your one hazard is wrong, you will not fail. They will consider your 11th one or 12th one. But minimum you should give 10 hazards. If you give 9, you will fail. They say you have done only 9, so you failed. Please resubmit next time. Again, you have to pay all the money for registration and resubmit. So 10 different hazards, but these 10 hazards are must be from 5 different hazard categories. Very important. So what are the hazard categories are mentioned here from chapter 5 to chapter 11. So noise, vibration, radiation, that is what we learned in the chapter 5. Work related upper limb disorders we learned in 6, and 7th one is hazardous substances, health, welfare, environment, working at height, confined spaces, lone working, slips and trips, then work equipment, machinery, fire and electricity. From these list you have to make the risk assessment. So in the risk assessment there are tables. Okay, the table you have to fill correctly. So I'll give you an example of so these many 1 2 3 4 5 6 columns are there. The first column, the hazard and the hazard category, who may be harmed and how, what you are already doing to control the hazard, what further controls or actions might be needed. Remember, you must take account of the hierarchy of controls and the prevention and control measures in ILO WOS 2001, section 310.1 in deciding on further controls. What the timescales are for completion of each column, the role of the person responsible for completing each column. So let us see one example here. Next one. Okay, so this is the part 2 of the risk assessment. Okay, here organization name, you have to fill that. Date of assessment, you have to fill the date. So you can just put the date after your exam. Okay, this week date you put. So this maybe when you are copying from your friends, which is a malpractice. Again, I'm telling you, don't copy from your friends. You do it by yourself. All these dates really have meaning. If NEBOSH finds out that your dates are old, there is a doubt that you copied this report from your friends. So, and also old report are there in the NEBOSH computer. There is a software with NEBOSH. They will put all the reports in their computer, and the computer artificial intelligence will detect this report is the copy of report submitted in the month of June 2021 or 2022 December report is the similar. So it will tell, and immediately they find out similarity in the report, and you will be barred from taking any exam. If you pass your IG1, that also you will lose, and it will be considered as malpractice. So don't take risk. This is not difficult task. You can do your own. Only thing, you should understand what you are doing. So organization name, date of assessment, scope of the assessment, what is the job you are mentioning. So that one. So let's see the first column, hazard category. So number 1, use of computers, that is the hazard category. So you have to hazard category, and you have to explain what is the hazard. Document controller and office staff were complaining about back pain and eye strain. Employees using computers received no training in the ergonomic hazards and risk controls. I don't find this is a very good hazard description. If I write this in simple way, how can I write? Working with computers. Okay, working with computers may cause eye strain, may cause back pain, and uh, eye strain of the operators. Okay, that one. Who might be harmed and how? who may be who might be harmed and how? I hope this is the latest one, or this is the old one. Probably, maybe. Hazard description. Let's see. Let me check the latest format. Maybe they have updated recently. Which one was sent to you? Format? Do you have the format sent to you? Let me check here. IG2 format. Okay. No. No, this. Okay. IG2 format recently sent. IG2 submission. Let's see what Vincent has sent to you guys. Vincent. Yeah, here IG2 sample electronic submission. This one. Yeah, this is the latest format. You can see this on the screen. I already
Yes,
explained
sir.
you point one. Now part two. Yes, I think it's the same thing. Hazard category and hazard. Who might be harmed and how? What are you already doing? What further controls actions are required? What timescales for further actions to be completed, and responsible person's job. So let's see one example. See the second one. Hazard category is work equipment. And what is the hazard? Worker found working on an unguarded tile polishing machine that was removed during maintenance. It was kept aside without tagging, do not operate. So that itself a hazard, isn't it? Worker found working on an unguarded tile polishing machine. So worker was working on an unguarded that was removed during maintenance. Means worker is using a unsafe machine which was kept without tagging. Do not operate. So why did the worker use that? Because there was no tagging applied there. If there was tagging, worker wouldn't have used that machine. But the machine is unsafe. That is what safety officer is identified. So now, what is the control there? Who might be harmed and how? Machine operator may be harmed from entanglement and drawing in from the rotating shaft and pulley mechanism of the machine, leading to major injury and amputation to worker. What are you already doing? Stopped work immediately and instructed his supervisor regarding the visual checking of the machine for hazards before operation. What further controls are required? So Review maintenance procedures to include tagging out the damaged machinery under maintenance, so workers may not use it unknowingly. Another controls provide training to workers in the hazards associated with the work on unguarded machines and associated control measures. So you have to follow here hierarchy of controls, okay, in this one. Stopping the work, conducting a risk assessment, providing guards, engineering controls, then administrative control, maybe including a permit to work system. So you have to decide which is best controls there. Then time scales. Each control you have to give a time scale now. Review maintenance procedure, how many days is needed? So time scale should be realistic. You can't simply give immediately. Everything is not immediately possible. When you need some purchasing need to be done, then somebody has to go to market, take the money, and buy the things. So that time at least 1 day or 2 days needed. Sometimes little contractor maybe need to involve in maybe tar is road is not proper, road need to be asphalted. Can I say it 1 day? Is it possible within 1 day? Road asphalt? No, it takes at least 7 days or 1 month time. So give 30 days for that. But you have to see whether the hazard is high risk or low risk. If it is high risk, then your action should be quicker. Then you can think about long term action later. Immediately, what you need to do? Maybe stop the work and barricade the area when there is an opening. When the road is damaged, there is a big hole, pond on the road. So, what is the immediate job? Maybe fill it with some soil within 1 day. Stop the work, display the signage there, and fill it. Then maybe 15 days, asphalt that area. Then each action, who is the responsible person? So maintenance engineer, safety manager, like that you can, you have to decide and put the names of the responsible people. So like this 10 hazards you have to identify in 5 different categories. And these categories can be your textbooks from 5th to 11th, headings are there that will tell you what are the categories. Okay. So you can write down work stress, noise, slip, trip and fall. Okay, slip, trip and fall. Biological hazards. What is a biological? Bacteria, viruses. But you have to explain here what is the hazard. Food waste found not properly disposed of and containers found overflowing. So what will happen? Food waste overflowing means it will attract the pest and rats will come there and the biological hazards might spread there. Rat urine, rat fever can happen, like that. Hazardous substance. See, tile dirt cleaning substance, thinner, acetone, was found stored in a empty drinking water bottle without labeling. So who will be harmed from this? Maybe worker may expose to the risk of drinking the chemical as it is stored in water bottle without label, leading to serious acute health issues including death. Also, thinner is a highly flammable liquid and increase the risk of fire at the storage area if not securely stored. So fire hazard also there, health hazard also there. Understood, no? So this way you can write down the 10 hazards. Once the 10 hazards are done, then the next step is you have to prioritize 3 actions with justification for the selection. But in that first one, you have to give moral and financial arguments for all actions. Let's see your format. Okay. 2019, yeah. And this is a book, I think, from the book. Okay. So in the guidance, what we saw, yeah, here it is in the word file. We saw that in the word file. Okay, so this is done as per your format. Then we'll go to the so your now format is like this. Okay, you have to fill moral, general, legal, and financial arguments for all actions. So, what is the moral arguments? What is the general legal argument and financial arguments you will put there? So, if we go to back to the model paper here, this one, you see, during the inspection, various medium to high level risk have been identified. If these risks are not controlled, a resulting potential in accident can cause personal injury and property damage, resulting into financial losses to the company. So it is wise to manage occupational health and safety in an organization to avoid accident. And accident may cause suffering to individuals. You know, this is you are talking about moral. Accident may cause suffering to individual and significant financial losses to the businesses. Managers have a moral responsibility to ensure that their workers safely go back to their home and live a happy life. And injury or death caused at work can affect not only the worker but also his family in terms of earnings. The families of the workers expect companies management to look after their family members from accidents and injuries. So it is highly expected from the managements to show reduced accident rates to the society and show that they really care about the people. A company who show high health and safety standards are much likely to be preferred by the clients to conduct business. So you are telling your benefits also, you are telling what is the moral obligations of the company and why they should do health and safety. Also, there is legal or financial. An accident can reduce employee morale, affecting the production and incur losses to the management. Accident can cause bad reputation to the company, and the building owner may not renew the contract or may terminate the contract for non-compliance. Now, this is because it's the FM industry. The building getting business has been explained. If it is your construction industry, you can talk about when the people are dying, then jobs can be stopped, which will delay in the completion of the project. Then there can be fines imposed by the authorities. You can talk on that. Also legal, you can talk about like what will happen when the investigation takes place and they find out that managers were responsible for this accident by not implementing health and safety rules and regulations. Then managers may be prosecuted in the court of law, resulting in jail terms and severe fines on the company. Understood? No, this way you can write down this, but your writing should not be more than how many words? 300 to 350 words. 300 to 350 words. Do you understand this? Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Moral, legal, and financial. Okay. So next part is you have to mention any three hazards, major hazards, and give the justification for that in this one. Justification for action 1, action 2, and action 3. Now, which action you should write here? Now, from where we get this action? From here, from this table. Understood now? From this table. So when you give your numbers, hazard number 1, hazard number 2, it will be easier for you. Or you can at least give actions here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can straight away select action number, which one? Carry out DSC assessments by sending questionnaires to computers and conduct training to workers in the good work practices. If you consider use of computer is a major hazard, so you have to select first what are the three major hazards that will cause more harm to the people. Understood? No. So here, what was the major hazard? Hazardous substances, probably. Review chemical management procedures to include chemical handling bottles. All bottles must be approved with the labels. Conduct chemical handling training to all cleaners. So let's see what are the points mentioned here. Provide secured walkways for the workers' movement at the loading bay area with physical barriers. When you write this, you should write here in the column action number which one. So which action number is this one? Secured walkways. Let's see secured walkways. Here, action number 31 or hazard number 10 probably or 12. Provide secured walkways for the workers' movement at the loading bay area with physical barriers. Why he selected that? Because it is a big job, securing walkways with the proper barriers. And if a vehicle hits, then it's a high risk. So you have to explain all these things. Why are you selecting this one? So like, let's see. What are the specific legal arguments now? You have to now give for this particular control or particular hazard that you are going to control that one. What is the specific legal argument? So what does the law says? Now here written, ILO Convention C-155 imposes duties on employers to protect workers from the hazards associated with the vehicle movement. Further, UAE Federal Law number 8, Article 91 imposes responsibilities on the employers to identify the risk of the work and take all reasonable controls to protect the workers from injuries and accident. Just a moment, somebody getting. Okay. Accident. An accident at the vehicle moving area managers. A prosecution may lead to heavy fines and jail terms to the responsible managers for failing to identify the risk. The fines and civil claims may significantly increase the insurance premiums, causing the financial burden on the company. So that is the legal arguments. Therefore, you are taken this control as a priority control. Hello? Okay. So that way, consideration of likelihood and severity. Next part is you have to consider likelihood of that accident happening, and if accident happen, what is the severity. So what would you say? The likelihood is high and severity is high, therefore the risk is high. That is what is our main aim. If it is low risk, then you don't have to write in this one justification. So you have to consider now that risk is high. So what he has written here, let's see. During the consultation with the workers from the loading bay, it was evident that visitors use this route to go to the main entrance of the building. More than the visitors, company workers, cleaners pass through this area on a daily basis. There were some near miss cases reported, slightly avoiding the accident, especially at the blind corners. Based on this information, the likelihood of accidents occurring at the loading bay area is high as the forklifts moving and reversing. If an accident occurs, the severity can be very high, causing a major injury such as fractures or amputations, or in most cases, a death. Hence, both the likelihood and the severity are high. This action can be prioritized as high priority. So that is the your explanation on the likelihood and severity of the identified hazard or risk. Now, you already mentioned there what are the actions to take. Now, this one is saying how will be your action plan effect. the intended impact of the action. So what will happen? And justification for the time scale that you indicated in your risk assessment. Why you say it is 2 days enough, or why you say it needs 30 days. So you have to justify that. And whether you think the action will fully control the risk. So whatever action you given, do you think is that action is effective? Will it control the risk effectively or not? But you have to prove that it is effective. Otherwise, your report may not be good and you will fail. So let's read this one. The action needed to install secure walkways segregated from the moving traffic with the approximate cost of AED 5,000 so that the people can keep themselves at a distance, safe distance from the vehicles. The secure walkways and signage can more likely avoid the trespassing of the people. What you're saying now, the effectiveness, isn't it? So when you put this secure walkway and signage, it will avoid people trespassing into the vehicle route areas. During reversing, if a vehicle accidentally comes close to the walkway, the physical barrier may give first level defense to the walkway in order to keep the people safe. That means when the vehicle accidentally comes to the walkway, it will first hit the barrier. It will not hit the people. So this issue has been already communicated with the FM consultant who has agreed to obtain approval and finance for this job. Also, this installation can act as a due diligence in case of a fatal accident when people fail to follow safety instructions given to them. In case some accident happened, that time, since you made all the precautions and all these barriers, that show as you complied with the law. Even an accident happened, person get injured, that time also you will be protected by the law because you had given proper walkways. Then workers came out from that walkway and caused the accident. But without these precautions, if worker get accident, then it is the failure of the management because they fail to give protection. To implement this action, a period of 1 month is specified in the report, which is a reasonably sufficient time for the purchase manager to obtain necessary approvals and select the supplier, install the barriers, and display warning signage. If more time given, then risk of occurrence of an accident may increase. Till this time, a flagman has to control the area with the extreme carefulness as he is exposed to the risk from the moving vehicles. If this action effectively implemented on time, this can significantly reduce the risk of people being struck by the moving and reversing traffic. So this way you are writing justification action 1. Similarly, you have to write justification action 2 and justification action 3. Select any 3 major hazards from your list and you can explain in this way. Did you understand this? Students, did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this way you can write down all 3 others. Then finally, you have fourth part 4. Review, communicate, and check. You see there are 50 to 100 words for the first one. Second part is 100 to 150 words, and third part follows 100 to 150 words. Five sentences more than enough. So what is the first part? Planned review date with the reasoning. Why are you telling the review will be conducted on so and so date? Maybe after 1 month. Why are you saying that? So if you explain here. The actions mentioned above shall be reviewed on the first week of the next month during my monthly routine inspection. This is who is telling that? Safety advisor who wrote this report. So again, I'll read. The action mentioned above shall be reviewed on the first week of the next month during safety officer's monthly routine inspection of the premises as per monthly HS inspection schedule as the time given to complete the action completes. The review will definitely identify the action completed and its effectiveness in safeguarding the workers. Any deficiencies left over after the implementation. So training plan shall be reviewed and any improvement shall be suggested during the review visit. The risk assessment shall be reviewed and updated following the review visit. A detailed storage and racking procedure shall be developed by the safety manager. Okay, that is what maybe regarding to that particular topics he has written that. How the risk assessment finding will be communicated and who you need to tell. So now this risk assessment, whom you want to communicate and how are you communicating. The updated risk assessment findings shall be communicated to the workers during the daily safety briefing sessions and displayed on the store safety notice board. Safety manager shall conduct the store safety training to all employees during the monthly scheduled in-house trainings. The storekeeper shall be given ownership of the racking system and all supervisors will be made aware of the racking procedures. The storekeeper shall conduct weekly inspection of the store using the checklist from form provided in the safe storage and racking procedure. Markings regarding the load limits and height limits shall be marked at the prominent locations on the racks. Warning signs deemed as necessary shall be displayed in consultation with the safety manager and the store manager. So this is how the risk as findings will be communicated and who you need to tell. So what important points you want to tell, you are telling them. And how you will follow up on the risk assessment to check that the actions have been carried out. How you will follow up on the risk assessment to check that the actions have been carried out. So it's a follow-up, risk assessment follow-up. So a random spot check shall be carried out by the safety manager to ensure that the safe racking methods have been followed by the workers. Here, not the racking important for us. How the checks are being made. Racking is this particular project's requirement. So random spot checks or random inspections carried out. That one you can mention. Activities like loading and unloading shall be monitored and ensured worker compliance to the set procedures. Supervisor shall be specifically trained in the procedures by the safety manager and any deviations by workers shall be immediately rectified and spot training shall be conducted by the supervisor. Periodic audits shall be conducted by in-house auditors to check the effectiveness of the system in safe racking. So this way you complete the chapter part 4 also. So your form will be like this. See here, this was your form sent to you. So you are filling all that parts, then making 10 to 12 hazards, identification, then you write a moral, legal, and financial arguments with 3 actions with the justification. And finally, chapter 4, you will mention about planned review date with reasoning, how the risk assessment findings will be communicated and who you need to tell, and how you will follow up. This way, you will successfully complete. After finishing the report, again you read these side questions and see whether your writing is in line with that or not. Mainly, you need to consider your 12 hazards covering all the 5 categories. So where you find the 5 categories? From 5 to 11 chapter headings you read. They are the hazards. Headings will give you the hazard categories. Okay. Do you have any questions now? Also,
No, sir. No,
I want you to read the guidance which is sent to you. Is that clear? Guidance? Clear, right? If you have any questions,
yes, sir.
please ask me now on the report.
No, sir.
I hope you guys already started the report writing.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Did you get the 5 hazard categories properly?
I'm trying, sir.
Okay. So how you need to do? Go for one fire, definitely. Fire hazard, one chemical or hazardous material you go. one machinery, mechanical, noise you can think of, uh, noise, slip, trip and falls you can think of, what else? Vibration you can think of because you are using tools, mechanical tools which cause vibration. Which what others? Electricity you can think of, electrical hazard. Then you can think of which one? The
Economical.
radiation, radiation,
Yes, sir.
mechanic,
Yes. Mechanical.
mechanic. See, 10 over. Okay, only thing your writing style now. Mechanical. Tell that workers found working with a grinding machine without guard. Who and how? Worker, operator will be exposed to the blade, uh, causing him serious injury in case blade explodes due to the absence of guard. Blade can hit onto the person operator, causing him serious injury and amputation. What is already done? You can think of, you can say, job has been stopped and instructed supervisor, toolbox talk conducted to the worker to inform him about the dangers associated with the grinder using without guard. And what further control you needed? You go with the hierarchy of control measures, risk assessment, proper maintenance, all that things you can write down. And who is responsible? You can write down storekeeper, you can write down purchase manager, and how many days is required to for the controls. Maybe 1 day, maybe 5 days, depending on the job you have identified, depending on the controls, how much long time is needed. Okay, so that's all about IG2 report. I hope you understood this.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We do.